Hey there, thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive into a helpful walkthrough of the book of 2 Peter, and we'll keep things as clear and real as possible, especially for new learners and Gen Z viewers. I'm going to sound like your friendly storyteller, not a formal preacher. Grab your favorite drink, lean back, and let's do this. Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're spending this time together. Today we're going to explore the book of 2 Peter. We'll talk about who likely wrote it, why it was written, what was going on in the world at the time, especially in Rome, and then unpack the key message so you can see how it matters for you today. Let's make this simple and meaningful. We're looking at the book of 2 Peter, chapters 1 through 3. Sometimes you'll hear people reference verses like 2 Peter 1:1 or 2 Peter 3:9 and so on. So, what's the basic gist of 2 Peter? In everyday terms, it's a letter to believers, reminding them to stay grounded in the truth they've been taught, to watch out for fake teachers or ideas that mess things up, and to live in a way that reflects the truth of Jesus. The letter begins by saying it's from Simon Peter, a servant and apostle of Jesus Christ. In other words, the name on it is Peter. The same Peter who walked with Jesus, saw him after his resurrection, and later became a major leader in the early Christian movement. Many Christian traditions believe that the Apostle Peter wrote this letter himself. Some scholars think that might be true, while others suspect it may have been written later by someone using Peter's name, which was a common practice back then to honor a teacher's legacy. As for why it was written, the letter says it's the second one, and it mentions that the writer knows his death is coming soon. That gives it an urgent tone. It's like he's saying, look, time is short. Make sure you're solid. Don't drift off. Don't get fooled by fake stuff. Live wisely. As for when it was written, there's a range of possible dates. Some say around the mid-60s AD, near the time when Peter was likely martyred under Emperor Nero. Others think it might have been written a bit later, maybe toward the end of the 1st century after Peter's death. Either way, it comes from a time when early Christian communities were under real pressure, trying to stay faithful in a world that didn't understand them. Now let's zoom out for a second and talk about what was happening in Rome and the wider world. The Roman Empire was in full power. The emperor and the Roman gods were seen as part of everyday life. Loyalty to Rome was expected, and religion was tightly connected to politics. When people refused to worship the Roman gods or the emperor, it raised eyebrows. Christians were seen as odd, even suspicious. One big event changed things a lot. The Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. Huge parts of the city burned down, and Emperor Nero needed someone to blame. He accused the Christians. They became scapegoats, and some were arrested, tortured, and killed. From then on, Christians in Rome and other places knew that following Jesus could be dangerous. So imagine being part of a small, misunderstood community. Some of your friends have been arrested. People around you spread rumors that your faith is weird or even harmful. Inside your own group, a few people start teaching different ideas, saying, don't worry, Jesus isn't really coming back, or just do what feels right. That's the world 2 Peter is speaking into. It's a message to a community under pressure, people who needed encouragement, clarity, and courage. The letter has a few major themes that tie everything together. First, growth. The writer tells believers to keep growing in goodness, in understanding, in self-control, in patience, in love. It's like a list of upgrades for your character. Don't stay stuck where you started. Keep leveling up spiritually. Second, watch out for false teachers. Chapter 2 is basically a call-out post. It says there are people who look spiritual but are actually misleading others. They twist the truth, they chase selfish desires, and they cause harm. The message is clear. Don't be naive. Just because someone sounds confident doesn't mean they're right. Third, the return of Jesus. In chapter 3, the writer says some people are mocking this idea like, where is he? Everything's been the same forever. The response is that God isn't slow. He's patient. He's giving people time to turn around, to grow, to change. The letter says the day of the Lord will come unexpectedly like a thief, so be ready and live with purpose now. And finally, it's about living with hope and urgency. It's saying, you've got this one life. Use it well. Don't get lazy about your faith. Stay alert, stay real. Now let's make this real for a second. Imagine your world, your social feeds, your friend groups, your college classes, your workplace. There are so many opinions flying around, right? Everyone has a truth, Everyone has a take. You've got people saying, just live your truth, or nothing really matters, just be happy. Some ideas sound nice at first, but fall apart when life gets hard. That's exactly the kind of environment the people of 2 Peter were in, surrounded by confusing voices. Think about it like your phone. You know how your apps need updates? If you ignore them, things start lagging. Bugs show up and your phone doesn't work right. That's what Peter is talking about with spiritual growth. If you stop growing, your system gets outdated. Your thinking gets fuzzy. You're more easily influenced by stuff that's not healthy. Keeping your faith active and your values strong is like keeping your phone updated, staying sharp, secure, and ready for whatever comes. Or picture a streaming service. If all you ever watch are comfort shows that never challenge you, you'll miss out on stories that change how you see the world. Same thing with life. If you never stretch your mind or heart, you stay stuck. 2, Peter is saying, don't settle for the shallow stuff. Go deeper. Don't just coast through your feed. Pay attention to what's shaping you. And here's another one. Imagine your GPS. You're driving somewhere new, and it says recalculating. It's easy to ignore it, right? But if you do, you could end up lost. 2 Peter is like that little GPS voice saying, hey, check your direction, not to shame you, but to help you get back on track. Here's the encouragement. You don't have to be perfect to grow. You just have to be willing. You don't have to have every answer. Just keep taking steps. The letter reminds us that growth takes effort. It says, make every effort to confirm your calling. That means live what you believe. Let your actions line up with your values. So here's a small challenge. This week, take 5 minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what beliefs am I just going along with because they're popular or easy? What truth have I been ignoring because it feels inconvenient? Then, do one small thing to grow in a better direction. Maybe it's reading something meaningful. Maybe it's having a real conversation instead of scrolling. Maybe it's taking a break from something that drains your peace. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens on purpose. If you're already on that path, Georg, keep going. Don't stop. The writer of 2 Peter knew life gets busy, confusing, and loud. That's why he kept reminding people to stay focused on what matters. He knew the world would always have distractions and false versions of truth, but he also believed that living with wisdom, kindness, and love would outlast all of it. So if you're tired, unsure, or just trying to figure life out, remember this: you don't need to know everything right now. Just keep growing, stay curious, keep your heart open and your mind steady. You're not alone in this journey. Thanks for spending this time with me walking through 2 Peter together. I hope it was clear, real, and encouraging for you. If you ever wonder how to apply it, just come back to this idea: growth, truth, readiness. Keep learning, keep living with purpose, and keep your heart anchored in what's real. You've got this. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you next time.